Hey there guys, it's Metro, and today we're taking a look at Truthguard, the Protection Paladin artifact. We're going to make a little guide, quote unquote, on the path that I think is the best for raiding. And of course, in order to do that, we have to talk about some of the traits and some of the cognitive choices you have to make on the way there. So before we even get into it, I want to just say that I really like Paladin. It's obviously been my main class for a long time. I haven't always played prop, but I do enjoy playing it when I do. And a part of this is really important to me. Like, being able to play a tank in a versatile standpoint is really good. So I feel like a big issue with Prot is kind of their damage. I don't feel like it's very fun. And, people have suggested solutions around this, but I think something that they're missing is very, very nice, like, burst AoE. And because of that, there's a talent up here, a trait, actually, an artifact trait that kind of gives me what I'm looking for. So I feel like this is the optimal path, and some people seem to agree with me. Now, the other reason I think this is really good is because it should synergize with this. Now, I haven't like actually put a ton of time into testing this. So if you guys do know this, if you know that the damage that this does synergizes with the absorb here. Now, don't forget, this got buffed recently as well, so this is really good. If these two things together actually work, or if this does like a separate instance of damage that does not contribute to the amount of Avenger Shield damage it actually does, but I assume they do synergize together because most things do nowadays. That would be really, 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 really nice. That would solve the problems I have, and I feel like it would be a really nice defensive, addition to their kit. But anyway, we have to get there first. So that's the route we're going to take. Now, there's two options immediately, and I'm going to talk to you about like the differences here. So this is like the route that I think most people take, maybe like a more conservative approach. I hate this type of trait, though. If you know me at all, you know that this is how I feel about these things. When you're under 40% health, increase armor by 30%. It sounds good, but I just don't really expect to be under 40% like while we're waiting for raids to open. Once Mythic Plus comes out and raids come out, then yeah, this is a lot more applicable. It may save you in a lot of cases, but I don't know. It just seems kind of silly to be taking when the only content that you're going to be able to do is kind of just like mid-level 5-mans. But then, of course, this is probably the best 3 points you can spend. It increases the damage of Shield of the Righteous by 9%, which is really nice. It does actually go well with my playstyle. And Shield of the Righteous reduces damage you take by an additional 3%, which is actually a really good... I mean, that's a great trait. Even if it was only one or the other, it would still be one of the better traits. But, that I don't know. I think, like... I just kind of prefer the other path, and I'm going to tell you why, all right? So about, like, 2 months, maybe like a month ago now, somebody talked to me about this. They said if you like put a bunch of points into this and then you get 3 relics for it, and you have all these different things going on, you could basically get Light of the Protector's heal like above 90%. So it would basically be like a very high health heal every few seconds. Now, if that's the case, Paladin is absolutely unbelievably the best tank. But I don't think that's going to happen. Regardless, he really changed my viewpoint on this heal. At first, I was like, this heal is never going to be good because of the percentage it does. But the more I realized how many things actually, can increase the percentage, and, how wings increases a percentage, and just kind of how the percentage heal is really just as good as any other heal in most situations. The only thing that sucks is like when you're at 10% health, you can't fully heal yourself. That's the time where I think blood shines. But for like, I'm at 60% health, and this is a really good heal, and its usability is actually really credited. So I really like this. Even early, I think this is really good. But the difference is I really like this too. Now, Ardent Defender is a really, really, really cool ability to me, and I think it plays a very important role in the Paladin's kit. Obviously, if you heard me talk about Prop Paladin before, you understand I believe very, very strongly that they can mitigate the insane level damage in a very, very good way. They have 3 amazing ways to do it, and one of them is an absorb, or one of them is an immunity, right? So it's like, how can you dispute that? But the thing that I think they fail at is outside of their active mitigation, they struggle with like medium level damage, like kind of like the damage you're going to see when you first start mythic dungeons and you're under geared. Like, you haven't really fully gotten gear from heroic, so you're still like kind of sitting around like 810ish item level, 815ish, and you're going right into stuff that drops 840. You're going to get hit pretty hard, and that's kind of when you're going to see an ability like Ardent Defender get used to a higher efficacy. So if you're not aware, it's currently a 2-minute CD. It reduces all damage you take by 20 seconds for 8 seconds. And then, of course, your artifact is a 1-minute CD, and it reduces all damage things do to you by 25% for 9 seconds. So I feel like these are kind of going to have to be your yin and yang, your bread and butter. And then, of course, don't forget, Ardent Defender is also a cheat death if used properly. So these two things together, I feel like really flesh out that part of the kit that I feel like they were lacking. So I think this is going to be my route. I really like the idea of reducing it by 30 seconds, making it a 1.5-minute CD. So anyway, from there, now just like I said, you can go either way. It really doesn't change anything, but there's one small swing afterwards that we will discuss. So anyway, next up you would do Hammer Time, of course, the only real option here. And then you come with another choice. Now, this isn't bad at all. The critical strike chance of judgment goes a long way, but I think the duration of Consecrate goes even further. So I'm not, once again, I'm not 100% sold on either of these choices, but I think, based on how the kit works, having an increased duration on Consecrate is really, really useful. I think you guys would agree with me. But if you are going to take this, then you're in trouble here, because you're not going to be able to follow the route I want to take. If you took this and then these ones over here, right, so you went to Righteous Crusader instead of Unflinching Defense, then you could still continue over to here and get this. But for the purpose of this route, you cannot take Stern Judgment. It's just not an option, okay? But anyway, yeah, Tears Enforcer is the first thing we're going to go for in terms of golden traits. I like this because, like I said, all you're going to be doing is dungeons for the first 3 weeks, and you'll get this. Now let's be 100% lucid here, okay? At this point, we're already at the 1K artifact power here, all right? So we're already into the exponential part of artifact power, but yeah, I think at this point now, with 3 full weeks, originally when I made these videos, I thought it was only going to be 2 raid weeks, but they've confirmed that it is 3 weeks without raid. So yeah, there should be no issues here. And like I said, you're going to be doing a lot of dungeons, so I think Tears Enforcer is going to go really, really far. Now from here, we're coming up on one of the best traits for just actual tanking in the whole tree, but we have to get there first. Now, if you went the other path, right? So if you went, if you had points here, then you'd be able to just go right here and then down to here and skip this. But I don't think I would skip this even if I was going to do that, guys, because once again, this synergizes really well with what I was just talking about, tanking 5-man situations, right? Which is all that's going to be active when you're actually leveling this. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is just one of the better traits. While Ardent Defender is active, all melee attacks that strike you deal 80% of spell power, holy damage, back to the attacker. So it really depends how much, I don't know exactly what spell power, what type of damage this is going to do, but regardless, if you have that and this, then I think you're going to be those two things, and then this, I think you're really going to dramatically increase your AoE damage. And then of course this as well, right? So yeah, we've kind of traded this off. It's a single target increase, but what we're focused on is 5-man dungeons. And while a single target increase and of course an extra defensive benefit can be very useful, I kind of just like playing this kind of like, back in the day, man, Paladin they used to have no mitigation. They used to just be an AoE tank, and that's how they were. So I really like this. I'm really liking how they're feeling again, like where they just drop Consecrate and throw these fucking hammers around, and then they got Thorns on Painful Truth. They got crazy bouncing shields bouncing around doing all kinds of damage. So I really like this playstyle. So even if it's suboptimal, I think this is what I'm gonna do, and I would urge you guys to think about it. But anyway, after that you get the 3% health, which goes a long way for paladins, and then of course Bulwark of Order, which, like I said, 20% absorb for all damage Avenger's Shield does to you, and of course there's some talent synergy here, right? So yeah, if you take, if you take First Avenger, increases the damage of Avenger's Shield by 50% and increases the chance for its remaining cooldown to be reset by abilities and talents by 50%, but now it only hits one target. So it's like, I don't know, people are going to take that for raid. I think Bastion of Light is probably just where it's at. But regardless, if you take that can go into that for sure. And I think, in general, there's a lot of synergy to be had here. Regardless, I think Avenger's Shield still remains one of the most important globals you can do, especially now that it has an offensive and defensive benefit. And then from there, it's kind of like up to you. So we put I think we put 20 20 things in. Let's count it out. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So yeah, 20. So people are saying around 20 is where you're going to be able to get to easily before raids open, provided you do as much as you can to do so. And then from there, you're kind of at wherever you want to go. I would definitely recommend going back down and getting this. This is probably going to be insanely useful in actual raids. The 3% extra reduction kind of covers the seams that I was discussing before. And then from there, I think the best 3 points that remain are into this. 6% extra block goes a real long way. It's crazy. And then, you know, everything else is all right. I think you're probably just going to grab this next because, you know, like I said, if you can kind of use Light of the Protector properly, this probably is really useful too. But then, of course, you have this. This is really good for tanking, guys, because you're able to give your off tank a really nice CD there. And then this, a lot of people have been talking about this too, but I don't know. At that point, you just fill the rest out, you know. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. I really like the kind of like the damage and all the extra stuff that you can get from this, like especially the thorns damage here and the bounce damage here. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, Prop Pally is off the list, and we'll see you guys in the next video.